Hello crafty friends, Shana here from ShanoukiArt. This project was inspired by Natasha from Treasure Books. Some pockets that she had folded from a 12 by 12 paper. I have taken that a bit further, I have changed it up and made it my own. So we have a pocket in the front and a pocket in the back filled with tags, die cuts and ephemera. And for this one I have tied it closed with a piece of torn fabric. And then when we open it inside, we're going to see that there are some pages like a journal. The base though is made from one piece of 12 by 12 paper. We also have a large pocket on the left, a smaller pocket at the top, and then as we page through, we only have a few pages, and we have the same on the back inside cover where we have a really large pocket and then a smaller one at the top. This is more of a notebook than a full-on journal, and there's very few pages inside, but there's lots and lots of pockets for all the ephemera and lots of bits and pieces. To decorate this one, I've put a die cut on the front. This one I have left as is. I closed this one with a really large paper clip that I have added a piece of fabric on, and then the same principle where we have a pocket in the front and the back, and then all the little pockets inside stuffed with lots of goodies. These work great with double-sided 12 by 12 paper, but single-sided paper works too. The pink one that I just showed you was a single-sided paper, and to cover up some of the white on the front cover, I added that die cut. You can leave it white to create contrast, or you can add to it. I think these make great gifts for your crafting friends and a good way to use up the 12 by 12 papers that you maybe are stocking up or hoarding. You can decorate the fronts of these as much or as little as you want. If you prefer plainer, that works well too. For this one, I have added a piece of very thin lace to the front fold over triangle just for a point of difference. The green one I have left as is, and then of course the pink one I've added the die cut. That part is really left to your personal preference. This one I chose to do with brighter colors. The idea is to use this as an art journal in future, which I will of course share with you. So I've made it brighter colors, and I was thinking even the little tags and ephemera that are going in the pockets are going to be art journaled and made with mixed media to make it really chunky and bright. And you really can stuff the pockets with anything. I also love using the paint sample cards that you can get in the hardware store. A great way to add color and interest to your projects. I realized here I forgot to add something in the top pocket, so I've quickly gone to my stash and found some items that suit the theme, and I'm going to pop those in to the little top pocket. Each of these notebooks I have put in 7 pages, which are folded in half, so we have 14 pages in total, so that is 28 writing sides. You can make them as thick or as thin as you want. Let me show you how it's made. It's actually pretty simple. You will need one piece of 12 by 12 scrapbook paper to get started. Again, either double-sided or single-sided, whatever you have. We're going to start by folding it in half to create a triangle. Align the top points and the sides and press the seam flat. Use a bone folder if you have. We're now going to do some measurements. Using our ruler, we're going to measure across from the left to the right, and we're going to measure in 13 centimeters, which converts to roughly 5.1 inches. And we're going to make a small pencil mark. We're going to do the same on the other side from the right to the left. Again, 13 centimeters, which converts to roughly 5.1 inches. We're then going to fold both corners in using the little pencil mark as our guide as to where our fold is going to be, and making sure we're aligning the center line with our center folded line. We're going to have something that looks like this. We're then going to fold this in half. We're going to measure again. Using our ruler and a pencil, we're going to make a mark from the left going in 3 centimeters, which converts roughly to 1.1 inches. We're then going to fold our point to that 3 centimeter point that we've just made. We're going to do the same on the other side. You can adjust these measurements to make your little foldy as big or small as you want. For the size that I've used, we have small little corners that are overlapping. So I'm just going to cut those out. Using a small scissors, I'm just going to cut out where it overlaps. It'll be a little triangle that is cut out. That'll just neaten it off when we fold it in the end. And that is all the measuring and folding we need for the base of our little notebook. We now need to glue a few things down to make our pockets. When we open up our folder, we're going to make a mark where the bottom flap meets the top flap. And then we're going to apply glue, just a thin line from the bottom corner up until that mark. This is the only section we're going to apply glue to. And I'm going to add a piece of scrap paper just underneath this in case some of the glue seeps out so it won't stick on my pretty paper. Now we're going to turn it over and we're going to apply glue on the bottom part of the triangle on the right and on the bottom part of the triangle on the left, and then push those over and seal them down. The top section of these triangles will be the top opening of the pocket. Once that's dried nice and well, we're going to add our papers inside. The measurements I have used for mine work well if you're using one piece of A4 paper, torn in half and then folded in half. I have used coffee stained paper, some pages from an old diary. You can use scrap papers, whatever you have. So create your signature and then hold it together with some paper clips or bulldog clips so we can stitch it into the cover. I don't have any fancy tools for creating the holes in my signatures and my journal covers. I use an old yellow pages book. It's nice and thick. I open it up in the middle and then I use the center part where I'm going to place my journal cover or my signature to be able to pierce the holes with my awl. And using a cute little note card with the word lovely on, which matches the color scheme for the center page of my signature. I have an old soft book cover that I have folded in half and I have pre-measured where my holes are going to go with even spacing. I then place it over the middle of my signature and push my awl through. I'm going to do the same for the cover. I'm then going to sew this in. I use embroidery thread, the type you'd use for tapestries. I normally find a coordinating color. I'm using a nice dark brown and a large embroidery needle. Using pamphlet stitch, we're going to put the needle through the middle of our signature, through the cover, and then up the back, through the top hole of the cover, through the signature. And then once it's at the top of the signature, we're going to pull it through, leaving about 5 centimeters of the thread in the middle, and then going all the way down to the bottom hole, through the signature, and then through the cover, and then back up through the middle hole. The two ends should be in the middle of the signature. Pull them firmly but not too hard so you don't tear the papers, and then tie them in a knot. Trim as needed. Have fun to see our little notebook coming together. Something that I do for my journals, obviously you don't have to do this part. I like to keep record of the journals I have made. I have a receipt book. I tear out the actual receipt part that has the number. That goes into the journal, and in the paper that stays behind in the book, I just write down what the journal was, just for my own reference. And I usually put a month and a year. I also keep my embroidery needle on the cover of this receipt book so I can always find it. And now we're going to fill our pockets with all our goodies. Go through your stash, whatever you have, pop it into the pockets, whether it's vintage ephemera or tags or even altered playing cards. Put as few as you want or fill it super chunky, whatever you prefer. If your scrapbook paper is pretty plain, you can always embellish it some more or add decoration to the inside pockets and the outside pockets. If it has more designs in it, you perhaps want to leave it plain. The options are endless. I moved and changed the tags and ephemera bits quite a bit just to make them balanced and to look good. I like quite a few in mine. You can put just one piece. Even a cute handwritten note would look very nice inside. And I don't mind if my things overspool and stick out, like this tag is sticking up at the top a bit. I personally don't mind. I quite like that look. Here I go, making a change again. I'm going to change this butterfly. I prefer the one that's got more of the oranges in. I'm going to close mine with a really large paper clip, and I'm going to use a piece of pretty cream colored lace to tie a half bow. At this point I thought I was done, and I actually just trimmed my lace and walked off thinking my project was complete. But when I came back to my desk, I found this beautiful large color coordinating butterfly, which I decided I wanted to add to my project. So I fussy cut it and then I stuck it to my cover. This butterfly is from Making and Creating, previously known as Digital Collage Club. I'll put the link in the description box below. I will also add the link to Treasure Books to the video that inspired this, if you'd like to pop over and have a look. I really hope you enjoyed this video and were inspired to create your own 12 by 12 folded pocket notebook. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the little bell so you're notified every time I upload new content. Happy creating, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!